All right. I know you don't have much time, so I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'll just make my comments. I know, but you guys have asked plenty of questions, and I frankly was served on the Transportation Commission when all of this was going through. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of fixate on that number 228, because I remember the debates in the Transportation Commission when we were looking at that number at Middle, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And we labored over all of ththose numbers, and I labored over all those numbers. So that's why when I look at that number and I come out today and said that I'm concerned about that number to a great degree, when it jumps up by 320, that's concerning to me. And the reason why is, look, let's put it this way, and I think the best way I can explain it is traffic is like water. You guys said that tonight, right? And what we've done is we've done a really good job of getting the flow rate to go through the pipes. That's everything. I think of El Camino as like a big pipe, right? The flow rate is actually getting better there. Traffic's dropping, so less water being pushed into there. But like any set of pipes, we have a leak, right? We have a leak, and the leak is what's happening over at Middle and University and Allied, and over there in Allied Arts, because it's not conforming to the plan. Okay, so flow's great, it's going through the pipes great, but when you look at the pipes, right there in that portion, there's a leak. We got to fix that leak. And so when I look at the specific plan's working perfectly. The specific plan is working perfectly because it's identified where the leak is. And the question is, what do we do to fix it? And what's always interesting to me in these discussions is that we look at the projects and we always deal in extremes. Even when we're looking at tonight, we're looking at an extremes. We're like, well, if we change residential and then we change to office and then we change to this other use, but we always look at the maximum of the extreme. Another way of looking at it is you look at the use and you say, let's move the uses around. We'll limit, and if you put in this type of use, which has more of a traffic impact, you put in a little bit less of that use. So you're trying to hit what your impact is. Because the fact of the matter is, when you have a leak in your pipes, no one would allow that in their house, even if it was just one leak, because that water gets all over the place, like it shouldn't, and you get mold. Ruins the quality of life of your basement. So we got to fix that leak. And that's really, it's funny, I'm sitting here and I totally think the specific plan's working. I totally understand there's a point that we got a leak right here and we got to fix it. So I actually would like to see that leak fixed before we go to draft DEIR, because every project I've ever heard of when it comes out of DEIR, the argument is made, oh, well, you know, if we made that change, we'd have to go back into EIR again, and it's going to cost this much, and, you know, no. It's really not that big of a, this leak seems to me that we can fix it. And maybe the fix is you reduce a little bit of the square footage you're putting in. You know, frankly, their basis on that property, I don't think that's that big of a thing to ask. So you're still getting, you know, substantially the same project. It's a little bit smaller in some areas, but it's a good project for the city, and your leak is fixed, and it conforms to the plan. And I think that's, you know, so I think it's doable. I think it requires a bit of a redesign by them, but I don't think this is an extreme, you know, we're not dealing in extremes for anybody. We're just being reasonable with all sides. So that's what I'm looking for, and I don't think it's too much to ask of either side. I think if we get these numbers to conform with the plan, that's the plan that was passed. That was the process. And there's really only one area that it's not right now. So I think we're close, frankly. I want to thank our subcommittee members. I want to thank George and Stefan and Kevin and Councilmember Carlton and Councilmember Keith, because you guys, I mean, gosh, man, this city's we've been slogging it out, haven't we? I mean, we have. It's not soft elbows, it's sharp elbows. But we got the data. And the data says we're not that far off. We really aren't. It just requires a little bit more push, a little bit more reasonableness of folks to get us to where the specific plan wants us to be. And we need Stanford to come back to the table. And that's why, folks, I was frustrated. I was frustrated that we lost Stanford for a while, but they're back at the table now. And we have the data in front of them. And they said today, We're ready to do EIR. Great. I'm ready to do EIR too, but we're going to talk a little bit more about what we do before we go into that EIR so that it conforms with the specific plan. So I don't think this is extreme as everybody is making it. I don't. And those are my comments.